We're now joined by 6th District Congressman Representative Andy Barr from Washington, D.C. Congressman, it's good to have you with us, and thank you for taking the time. I'll go ahead and jump right into the questions for you about our Senate race. We now have two other major declared candidates, a little more since the last time we spoke. Why do you believe you're the one that stands out from the pack?
Well, it's one thing, Bode, to have politicians talk about supporting the president and his agenda. It's another thing entirely to actually be in the fight with the president, delivering on this America First agenda. And we need more than ever a proven America First fighter in the United States Senate, someone who is ready to deliver on day one with the experience, having served with the president in his first term in his administration, delivering on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, working with his cabinet secretaries to deliver on the economic agenda, being the chairman of President Trump's 2024 primary election, the first member of the federal delegation before the 2024 primary to endorse President Trump. I've enjoyed President Trump's endorsement every race I've ever run. We've got a close relationship, both him personally and also members of his cabinet. But most importantly, right now, I'm here in Washington working as a member of the whip team in the U.S. House to deliver the votes for this one big, beautiful bill, which will really be jet fuel for the economy and really is the cornerstone of the president's agenda.
So with the big, beautiful bill, you supported it whenever it went through the House last time. Do you have any reservations about any of the changes that were made in the Senate?
No, in many respects, they improved some of the provisions for Kentucky that I advocated for over in the Senate. We have a big victory for the rum cover-over for the bourbon industry. We fixed a small problem for the thoroughbred industry that will make sure that in addition to bonus depreciation, we're going to have incentives for investment at Keeneland, for yearlings for that signature industry. For manufacturing, we've got a Made in America provision that, again, will be a magnet for jobs in the manufacturing sector in Kentucky. And then there's energy dominance provisions that I've fought for. I had a call with Secretary Burgum yesterday, the president's energy czar, and this has enormous potential to bring coal jobs back to eastern Kentucky, back to western Kentucky, and help Kentucky position Kentucky to be a leader, not just in our fantastic coal industry again, but also position us for the technologies of the future to power artificial intelligence so that Kentucky can be at the forefront of the United States competition, strategic competition with the Chinese Communist Party. The bottom line is this, is that the people of Kentucky deserve, yes, a proven America First fighter, someone who supports this president's agenda, but also someone who has a record of delivering over and over again, who can hit the ground running on day one to deliver for the signature industries of Kentucky. I've done that, and I'm going to continue to do that in the Senate, and no criticism from my opponents is going to stop that.
Do you have any concern over some of the issues that were raised by interest groups throughout this process, such as the eligible Medicaid recipients that could lose their insurance or funding for rural hospitals that could put them at risk of closing?
You know, what this bill does is actually strengthen Medicaid and that safety net for my constituents who really just need Medicaid and the people who Medicaid was designed for. So the disabled, the dual eligible elderly, children, people who are poor and indigent, those, and again, the disabled, people who cannot work. That's what this safety net is designed for. And scarce resources from being siphoned away from those Kentuckians to illegals, to individuals who are fraudsters, who are enrolled improperly, and able-bodied, work-capable adults without dependents. We want something better for them. We want them to get their health care through employer-based health insurance and make sure that they have that opportunity for advancement through the workplace. So we continue to work with our rural hospitals, and the Senate put an important provision in a rural hospital transformational stabilization fund. We're going to be working with CMS and Dr. Oz and also Secretary Kennedy to make sure that Kentucky rural hospitals have the resources that they need to continue to not only keep their doors open, but provide those services that rural Kentuckians deserve and need.
Well, let's bring it back to some issues that may be relevant here to the Senate race. We've seen a lot of different stances on immigration policy so far from the administration. It started really hard. The president is now floated a temporary pass. One candidate in this race is suggesting a complete halt to immigration until deportations are sorted out. Where do you stand on this issue?
Well, there's nobody in Congress who has been a stronger supporter of President Trump's border security agenda than me. And not just because I support the president, but also because I have had the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. I've had the endorsement of the narcotics officers of Kentucky. I've delivered on the high-intensity drug trafficking area programs for my district, bringing that program to 4 of my counties, because I've met with families who have suffered the excruciating and heartbreaking loss of a loved one who lost their lives to the opioid crisis, and to the many addiction recovery programs that I've helped through grants in my district. The bottom line is we need to secure the border. I led the effort among House Republicans in Trump's first term to defend in court the president's authority to use defense appropriations to build the wall. I've been to the border. I've been with the vice president of the Customs and Border Protection Agency, and I saw illegal border crossings and the cartel activity down there. And I've voted over and over again for the toughest border security legislation in the history of our country. And as a proud supporter of the One Big Beautiful Bill in the Congress, I'm going to be voting for later today, hopefully, $350 billion in additional resources for Border Patrol agents, for technology, and yes, to continue the border wall infrastructure. And that infrastructure is what the Border Patrol agents say they need. That's the number one thing that they say that they need to stop the flow of fentanyl, of drugs, of human smugglers and drug traffickers and cartel activity and criminals and terrorists into the country. So, in terms of supporting border security, there's no one who can say that they're tougher on the border than me. Now, at the same time, our agriculture sector, our hospitality sector in Kentucky, they certainly need legal workers. The horse industry, I've had the privilege of representing them. And the great thing about the president's policies that will secure the border and keep our communities safe is that it'll create the opportunity to streamline our overly bureaucratic legal guest worker programs so that our signature industries have the labor that they need. And some of these nativists, frankly, are directly at odds with the agriculture sector in Kentucky. And we are a nation of immigrants, but we're also a nation of laws. And I'm proud to join President Trump in both of those efforts to secure the border, number one, and support President Trump's efforts to help agriculture and the hospitality industry, which, of course, he comes from.
Would you say that your policy stance is always politically aligned with President Trump? Have there been areas where you disagree? And then ultimately, how do you think his endorsement may impact, the victor of this primary?
Well, even in areas where I think some people in Kentucky have objected to the president, let's say, for example, the bourbon industry has had concerns about tariffs. I've helped the president explain and communicate to our bourbon industry the power of the president's agenda. And for example, we're poised to have a big announcement with India where we're going to see once again more progress because of the president's leadership in lowering tariff and non-tariff barriers to American Kentucky bourbon whiskey exports, accessing that huge market, 1.4 billion people, whiskey drinkers, that could lead to literally tripling Kentucky bourbon production. So I support the president even in areas where Kentuckians have had questions, and I've helped to answer those questions for Kentuckians and help the administration achieve their policy objectives.
Now, you've seen another candidate release some campaign polling on this race. I've not seen much other polling out there so far. Is your campaign planning to release any polling? How are your internal numbers looking?
Well, they look great, especially if you consider I've only represented 1/6 of the Commonwealth, and my name ID, it looks like it's 70%. As we start, it's 70% statewide among Republicans. So all we really need to do is get better known in the places where they don't know me. Obviously, I'm more well known in the eastern part of the state, my district, obviously, but also in Hal Rogers' district, where my media market has been for many years. And what's good news for me is that while one of the candidates is virtually unknown, except for the people who lost money in his failed business, they do know him. In the other case, we had a Republican who ran statewide twice and unfortunately lost badly to our Democratic governor. So they know him too. But the good news is where my name ID is equivalent to my opponent's, I have a huge lead. So the strategy is simple. Just continue to do what we've been doing in Central Kentucky over these years, getting better known by the people, and make sure people understand that I'm an unapologetic advocate for Kentucky. It has been the privilege of my lifetime to represent Central Kentucky, whether it's the horse industry or the coal industry or the auto manufacturing industry with Toyota or the University of Kentucky or the bourbon industry or all those Main Street businesses that really make Kentucky's economy go. What a privilege it would be to continue that service statewide. And I love Kentucky. I'm an 8th generation Kentuckian, and I can't wait to represent all of the people of Kentucky and be their voice in the United States Senate.
All right, Congressman Barr, I believe that's all the time we have together today. Thank you so much for joining me.